I'm also, just to make it clear, I don't mean to make this a conversation that has any kind of religious fervor. But for the sake of further understanding, I want to talk about the Kashmiri Pandit exodus
Yes.
from your eyes and how it is or is not linked to the work of the ISI and the top Pakistani military leadership.
Right. In fact, I'll be happy to talk about this since I've written it in my book, A General Reminiscence. See,
With some context for the global audience.
yeah. So, like I said earlier, 1988 onwards, terrorism started in earnest in the Kashmir Valley. And terrorist violence was also one of the apparent aims was also to perpetrate violence to, to create bring about a demographic change, because Kashmiri Pandits, who are a very integral part of the Kashmiri culture, and it's a very beautiful syncretic culture of Hindu, Muslim, Sikhs, which is called Kashmiriyat.
But they live together in harmony.
They lived in harmony. They participated in each other's festivals. Shivratri, the Muslims still say Herat Mubarak. They lived with each other, and they participated in each other's functions. So, in the terrorists actually started targeting Kashmiri Pandits more than others. They wanted an exodus. There are about 5 lakhs plus, approximately. I will point out the date. It was 19th January 1990. On that particular day, there was a concerted attack against Kashmiri Pandits in all over the countryside. The mosques were blaring messages. There were very nasty messages being announced on the loudspeakers of the mosques, saying all Kashmiri, they would say, all Kashmiri men go away, leave your women here, and things like that. So there was a mass exodus that started on 19th of January. So that is something which really changed the demography, because Kashmiri Pandits then in larger numbers went away to Jammu, other parts of the Jammu region. They were in the refugee camps for a long time. Some who had better means and could afford it went away to Delhi or other places. But the people who couldn't were in such, they lived in very poor and miserable conditions for years. Coming back to the terrorism. And so it continued during the 90s. In by mid 90s, like I told you earlier, 1990, then our response started. We raised Rashtriya Rifles as which is now the largest counter-terrorism force in the world. We raised Ikhwan, the surrendered terrorist organization. So we started getting better of the terrorists. Our counter-terrorism grid was very strong.
I'm sorry, sir, but in the early 90s, why didn't the Indian government step in and try taking stronger actions?
So we did. That's exactly what I'm saying. President's rule was, it's that time that we had president's rule. The state assemblies were dissolved. Till 1996, there was no state assembly. So we actually took harsh measures after all this happened. And in the next 5 to 6 years, we got a very strong counter-terrorism grid by Rashtriya Rifles. I told you, the Ikhwan, intelligence agencies, and it became so tough for terrorists to operate that in 1996, somewhere there, they actually moved. The infiltration actually moved south of Pir Panjal, because earlier the focus was not on south of Pir Panjal, the region of Punch, Rajouri, and those are the areas that terrorists would infiltrate from. Uh, I have personally operated in that area. I commanded my battalion for 3 years, from 1998 to 2001, on the higher reaches of Punch. The Pir Panjal mountain range actually separates the Kashmir region in the north to Jammu region in the south. And uh, there, the terrorists would always infiltrate from here, but then their ultimate destination was the valley. They would like to go to Kashmir Valley. When mobile services started, then we got electronic intelligence as far as intelligence agencies are concerned. But the terrorists started using that also as an enabler
To talk to Pakistani generals?
to use to talk to their handlers, if not the generals, certainly the ISI handlers. So they had direct communication. They could their communications became so much easier, all difficult to intercept, and also it was a good means of radicalization. Today, a mobile phone is a good means of spreading any propaganda. It is a good means of radicalizing the youth. And when we had this Jasmine Revolution in 2001, 11, 12 in the Arab countries, so the Arab Spring, as it is known in different countries, they use the power of WhatsApp and social media. They started using that as well. They started using not only for communication, the terrorists started using mobiles, not only for communication, but also for mobilizing rapidly, also for radicalization. Then in 2000, coming back, in 2009, 10 and 11, the terrorists started using stone pelting. They drew lessons from the second Palestine Intifada of 2006, and where stone pelting proved to be very effective. Why effective? Because the Western countries see stone pelting as an unarmed rebellion. They may not be armed, but they are not non-violent.
It makes it look like, in terms of the aesthetics of it, it
Yes.
makes it look like the locals are frustrated with the military and want them out.
That's exactly what they wanted to do. Create that impression. That's what Palestinians did against the Israeli military. So they took a leaf out of their playbook and they started using it. But for initial years, 2009, 10, 11, I was there, and the stone pelting was isolated by itself, not in concert with the terrorists, not in concert with terrorist violence. But then in 2014-15, in 2015, I went back as Corps Commander of Kashmir, and we saw a big change. In 2014, till 2014, they would always cover their faces with a veil when they resorted to stone pelting or any such acts, so that they couldn't be identified by the police. But in 2015, I still recall, it was July 2015, Burhan Wani with 9 of his friends posted his picture. They posted their group photo with AK rifles on their Facebook page.